Yo,
What up? What up?
what's poppin', man? Another week, man. What's good?
Dude, episode 160. Let's
fucking
go,
Let's go, man.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Carbon Footprint Podcast. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit him with the deliciousness of the day, baby.
This, bro, he gonna have me penny dropping here in a minute. This shit is amazing, bro. Yo, this is good, man. Sean threw down this week. We're gonna call this the Blackberry Empress Smash. It is a fantastic gin drink. So we had you're gonna take 4 blackberries, 4 mint leaves, a half an ounce of simple syrup, and an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. You muddle that at the bottom of a glass, throw in some ice, throw in the gin, shake it up. And actually, I should clarify, bottom of a mixing glass, something you can shake up. Muddle that, add the ice, add the gin, shake it up real nice, pour it in a glass full of ice, and then top it off with a little splash of tonic and garnish with a mint leaf. Make sure that mint leaf is cracked so you can, or clap it so you can crack the veins in it and get that aroma. This shit is amazing, dude. This is so delicious.
We started off with a different drink.
And
that had an extra ingredient, and removing that ingredient made it so much better.
Oh my god, bro, this is so good.
We get to name this shit.
This might be the greatest accidental drink of all time. This is so good, man. If you're anything into gin, use the Empress because you will get this beautiful color. I mean, I know a lot of that is the blackberry, but you get the beautiful color. And then Empress gin has just become one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's really good,
man.
bro.
It's so good, man. We've been doing Empress for a few years now. I think we've been throwing down on the Empress.
And we've tried several gins, man. This is definitely one of the go-tos.
Listen, we've done all the Hendrix. We've done some random ones I don't remember names of, but
we done the Tanquerays.
We done Tanquerays.
We did the pink. What was the remember the pink one?
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was called, but the Floradora Hendrix, or it was a different one.
It was a different brand.
Oh, I think I remember what you're talking about. It was rhubarb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yep. Yeah. So we've done them all, man. Empress is like a staple, man. It's one of our favorites. So shout out Empress, and try this, man. The Blackberry Empress Smash. It's amazing. We got to name it. This is a Carbon Footprint exclusive. It might make the book. I don't know.
The recipe book
it definitely will.
People.
The recipe book is coming, man. This is a good one, man. And it's not that hard. This is great, man. So good.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Hit him with the Carbon Footprint of the week.
Yo, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm turning a new leaf or what. I haven't had an asshole Carbon Footprint in a minute.
You haven't, man. I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed myself, man. I'm glad you brought that up. But I'm giving my Carbon Footprint this week, man, to The Breakfast Club and Tyrese. So...
Oh, both.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Breakfast Club, the radio show. Probably want to say you don't know, or if you don't listen to the Breakfast Club, it's Charlamagne the God, DJ Envy. Used to be Angela Yee. Now they have sort of a rotating third host.
But I feel like Just Hilarious has been on there she's mostly, right?
Yeah,
mostly her.
Yeah, and I don't know what her contract situation is like or what the permanency is behind her. But if not, after this week, I do feel like she should be offered this as a permanent gig if she wants it. I don't know. Maybe it's up to her right now.
Okay.
Or I don't know. But, dude, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, there's a great interview they did this week with Tyrese.
Okay.
And Tyrese has had a tumultuous few years, to say the least. He's had beef with co-stars. He's had, he was going through a divorce. He's had, these crazy videos that he's dropping on social media where he's talking all this shit to people and doing all this stuff.
Oh, really?
And evidently he was going through some pretty serious stuff with some medications and some mental health stuff, with, going through a divorce. Like shit that human beings just go through, but of course, obviously lives life in the public eye. Us from the outside looking in are like, yo, Tyrese is a little kooky. Dude's lost his shit.
We are a little kooky.
We are a little kooky. We are a little fucked up, bro. And so obviously, outside looking in, easy to judge Tyrese. I certainly did. But this interview, one, it shed new light on sort of the shit he was going through, and it gave you empathy towards that, and you felt like he was somebody who was really sincere in what he was talking about and saying. But I say that to say that while he's going through all this stuff, I guess he was really good friends with DJ Envy, really good friends with Charlamagne the God, and they go into this history of why they were really good friends and why they're tight. And I don't want to give a lot away because I really want people to listen to the interview, but it gets very uncomfortable, and it is essentially like an argument between men who had some real beef. And just the way it was handled, man. Like, I'm like, wow, this is such a, you're talking about three men who are successful, who are each probably considered, I don't want to say alpha male, but dominant personalities.
Yep.
Three men who command a room for certain. And so to get in a room like this could have gotten ugly really fast because they're talking about some very uncomfortable topics. They're talking about dudes bringing in someone's wife into the mix of maybe throwing jabs and talking shit. And
so they were really tight, and then at some point it fell apart.
Yeah, so they're really tight. At one point it fell apart. I guess there was some messages exchanged. Tyrese said some shit that he claims, I don't remember any of that. I was medicated for some psychiatric shit. Like, I did a lot of horrible shit. Like, I believe it. I've seen videos. I've seen stuff. He's like, I don't remember any of it. And people are showing him messages. I don't remember doing that. It just wasn't me. And then, these guys are talking to him going like, that wasn't the dude that we knew. Like, DJ Envy talks, he goes as far as to say that Tyrese is a big part of why he's still married, because when him and his wife were going through something, he goes, man, Tyrese called me every day for like 4 months and would spend hours on the phone. He's like, I was in a bad place, like talking tight like that. Showed up to a dinner at a restaurant, like almost helped DJ Envy put it together, sang a song to DJ Envy's wife, and like really cool shit. At the time, he sold it as, I'm in town for some meetings, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'd like to go, link up with you and your wife. Let me see what I can do. He actually comes out on his interview and says, by the way, all that was bullshit. I flew into town specifically to do that for you and your wife. And he tells him that in the interview while they're having this like big argument, right? Which again could have gotten really uncomfortable. Could have gotten, fuck this. Could have turned into another Birdman situation, right? On the Breakfast Club. And dude, to see just three men handle this situation the way they did, to have an open, honest conversation where it's like, it's not only like, man, like you're gonna flex, but it's like, bro, my feelings were hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you didn't think anything less of any of them afterwards. It wasn't like, you're acting real bitch. It was like, man, like I thought we were tighter because of I was there for you. You weren't really there for me when I was going through my shit. I expected more from you. Like it turned into one of those, but it was a really good, I think, like example of like, hey man, you can uphold your reputation of being, I guess a strong personality, a strong man, and all that, and still have a conversation with somebody, still leave that being friends, airing out, whatever it is that you need to air out, and get back on the same page. And I just thought it was such a good example of doing that. It's like, if these guys can do that, who don't really need each other, again, each of them dominant personalities, and I just thought it was such a great example of how you can move forward from something that was so personal to those guys, man. Yeah, it's worth a listen. And it's just, again, just for anybody going through anything ever, Tyrese comes off like you have this newfound empathy for Tyrese as he's talking about this, because he does come off very sincere about some of the shit. Yeah,
and obviously it was, I guess, laundry that they had not aired before, right? They have not addressed it. And dude, I've been in those situations, man.
Envy had him blocked. Sorry, to the point where Envy goes like, "Nah, I had him blocked up until like a month ago."
Oh wow,
blocked. Yeah, so they couldn't even talk about it. Yeah,
that's crazy. Because I've been in situations where I think that someone has like not necessarily wronged me, but maybe thinks differently about me, maybe is angry with me, and then it's taken me a while to kind of like call that person and go, "Yo, man, like, we good?" Because it was all based on like, because every time I've done that, it's always like, yeah, we're fine. So it was all shit that I interpreted incorrectly. And it's just like, how many times does that happen with people, right? Where you sort of like, and obviously in this case, this guy was on some meds and he had some other things going on. But I think there's a lot of times, man, where you, and especially with like social media, fucking texting, dude, how many times do you read something and it's not? Matter of fact, dude, did you see fucking Patrick Mahomes this week? Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, and he's like, "Yo, the importance of commas."
Yes, dude.
Right? Because he writes like, "I hate that man." That's what he writes.
Yes, but he
meant that I hate that man.
Yeah, and the comma was the difference. The comma was the difference, I hate that
right?
Man. Yeah.
And it's like with social media and with texting, and there's so many times, man, that shit can be taken out of context, and then you just think that, oh, well, this guy's being an asshole or whatever, and it's not the case. And then if you don't fucking address it right away, you go and you sit there and it festers, bro. Yeah, and then you're like, you find yourself feeling differently about people, and then when you end up talking to them, it's just like, nah, like everything's good, bro.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah,
what? Yeah,
bro.
dude, it's so true, man. I think it's funny. That's such a great example because I was watching today as I was like reading some stories and stuff. I saw something about the VMAs. I guess they were this week.
Oh, yeah.
And they were showing these scenarios that like social media is running wild on. I think one of them was like an interaction between Justin Timberlake and Meg Thee Stallion, and it looks like they're arguing backstage. And, you know, so of course, social media, everyone's like, oh, the argument is going on. Like, what's happening here? Blah, blah, blah. And then, like, people who were there are commenting, like, no, man, it was one of those, like, Justin goes, like, yo, nice to meet you, kind of shouts it. It's a big crowd. He's, like, shouts it over, like, oh, really nice to meet you. And she's yelling back because she's a big fan of his, saying, no, this isn't proper, bro. We need to go meet proper. Nah, this isn't it. This isn't it. Right. And it's like,
but it looks from afar.
It looks angry, but it's her going, like, nah, like, I want a proper meet and greet with you. Like, I look up to you. Like, I, you know, it was like the total opposite.
Yeah,
and
like
it's just,
they take like an amazing moment like that and then make it something that
and
it's
they've
not.
done a bunch, and there's a bunch of shit that's come out since of like, you know, people rolling their eyes during someone's performance. But I'm like, yo, you don't know what they were rolling their eyes to. It could have been yeah, so it's like, so that like social media takes that and does that. And I think this is one of those where they went, yo, this has happened. And it was cool because like Envy's going like, you know, when Tyrese is kind of saying like, yo, man, I did that for you. And then when I was going through my shit, you guys were on here clowning me. Like, you know, you're doing your, and then he goes, yo, you guys have a job to do. A story comes across your desk. Like, I realize I'm a target of shit like that. Like, I just want grace of, you know me, pick up the phone and call me and say like, yo, man, are you fucking okay, bro? Like that. And he goes, that's all I want. Like, yo, you gotta talk about the story about me and my divorce, whatever. Like, fine, cool. Like, he goes like, yo, but like, I felt like I was there for you as a friend and you didn't give me the same grace back. Like, instead it was like entertainment and you guys are clowning it on here. And then I couldn't get a text back and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, and then to Envy goes, yo, yeah, but I'm going to tell you why. And then Envy goes in. And then it was like, yeah, it was like all this shit. And you know, like, again, could have gotten uncomfortable, could have gotten thing. And just hilarious, man. The reason I was saying I think she should get, if she's not the permanent third host, I think she should get it. I think a lot of the reasons it didn't go off the rails is because she stepped in and just came off like a seasoned pro in terms of like interviewing people and being in uncomfortable situations, but she was like reeling it back. Like, guys, like, you know, Charlamagne likes to throw out a joke in an uncomfortable situation, and it's obviously like, yo, this isn't fucking funny. Like, I'm trying to, and there was scenarios where even as a listener, you're like, bro, like,
yeah, not now.
This isn't the time. And she was really good about sort of reeling them back in. Yeah, like, and she was so good, handled it so professionally, was still able to throw in some jokes here and there, but keep it there. And I gotta give Tyrese credit, bro, because there were moments in there where he could have been like, yo, man, fuck y'all, and then got up and left that show, or just been real disrespectful, real wild. He almost just took the jabs and took the jokes and took whatever, and was almost like, you could just tell, like, I really got to get this off my chest. And he says it. He goes like, yo, you guys have this platform that I'm not going to get another chance to like tell my side of the story.
Right.
And so, and I think it's really mature and like in the moment to not sort of give in to that, like fucking, you know, the berating of all the shit coming at him, and just sort of stick with like, nah, man, I came here, I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to take the high road. I'm gonna, and again, man, by the end of it, you know, it was real kumbaya, they were cool, they were whatever. But it was good to see, like, yo, as men, I think sometimes we're kind of like, yo, I can't tell you, like, yo, Sean, you hurt my feelings and you made that comment. And, and you know, I should be able to say that and us survive that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, and then we should be able to go, like, to what you were saying before, where you can talk to your friend, like, yo, man, what's up? Like, are we okay? Like, and then hash it out, bro. Because sometimes it's going to be like, nah, man, you were fucked up like this. Like, that shit.
I didn't like that shit.
I didn't like that shit. Yep. And then we should be able to, like, I'm good about, like, I'm generally not a grudge holder. Like, I am a absolute, like.
You petty.
I'm petty as fuck. So the way I like to describe it is petty, and I'm also the fucking raccoon you corner. Like you catch me, and I'm coming for the jugular. Like I'm like, and that's the downside to me is like when I do get into those scenarios, I'm like, I'm going for the jugular. I want to hurt your feelings and get the fuck out of my face. Like I'm just trying to shut it down. I'm making this last as short as possible, right? Like so. But that's not right. You know what I mean? Like so, and I can be petty as fuck. So. Just to see this again, like going like as I'm listening to them, I'm going, oh man, I don't know that I would have been big enough to handle that way. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, at some point, you'd have been like, man, fuck y'all.
Yeah, fuck y'all. Yeah. You know me, man. I would have said some wild shit. Already.
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on all three of y'all. I would have been wilding, bro.
That's cool, man. So shout out to the Breakfast Club. That's one of my favorite.
Shout out Breakfast Club, man.
One of my favorite shows, and you know the way they interview people, I really like. It ain't always great, but you know they They're usually pretty good.
No, and a good example there of if you're a kid, you're a teenager, you're a grown man, you're a woman, whatever, of handling conflict and getting your point across and or commanding respect, but also doing it the right way, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys, man.
All right, man. My compliment of the week is going out to a guy that's 5 feet tall. Danilo
5 feet tall.
Cavalcante. This, for those of you who don't recognize that name, this is the guy that escaped from a Pennsylvania jail back on August 31st and was on the run for 2 weeks.
Yo, he was on every trail cam in Pennsylvania, bro. Like
every ring camera,
all those trail cams for the deer and shit. He was on every single one of those, bro.
Listen, this guy has a story. So. But I'll get into what's happened now. But this guy actually got in trouble. He's from I think he's from Brazil. Yeah, he's from Brazil. He was suspected of shooting a friend of his to death in Brazil over like some car payment shit, allegedly, right? In Brazil, he ran from the cops. He hid out in like the countryside, and then somehow found his way illegally to the U.S.
Okay.
All right. So he gets here, he kills his girlfriend that he makes here, gets caught, gets thrown in prison. Okay, so how does he escape? This guy finds two walls that are close enough together. And remember, he's only 5 feet tall.
He's really only
He's
5 feet
really
tall.
5 foot tall.
How are we letting some 5 foot dude get away with this kind of murder, bro?
And this is why he's giving him the carbon footprint.
Oh my god.
So he essentially like puts, if you can imagine this, he puts his hands up against one wall, puts his feet up against the wall behind him, and fucking like crab walks up the fucking wall.
Oh no.
And the top of this wall, there's barbed wire. The guy somehow gets through that shit too, right?
Okay.
He's on the run for fucking 2 weeks. Have you guys seen any of these news stories? He's on all these different cameras. He breaks into somebody's house. He steals some clothes. He fucking breaks into somebody else's house and he gets a rifle, that like a loaded rifle, and he's fucking rummaging through. 2 weeks, they finally find this guy. They track him down with a dog. A dog finds him like underneath some like wooded brush. So they finally caught him. He's wearing an Eagles hoodie, and I was like, "How fitting, fucking Philly, you fuckers over there."
He wasn't as elusive as those guys. Actually, you know what? Fuck, he was, bro. 2 weeks on the run. On a manhunt, that's pretty damn good,
dude. So, and then the other thing that I found interesting about this was once they found him. The SWAT team, I guess, that caught him. You know how hunters take pictures with their catches? They'll fucking have like a deer over here and shit.
No.
Bro, they all line up for a photo. Like the whole
op?
Yes. Like the whole clan of the whole fucking SWAT team.
I'm not
with the 5 foot guy. Like he's like the prey.
Bro, you caught a runaway toddler.
But not for nothing. So while this guy is loose, and again, it's the reason why I gave him a carbon footprint. Is like, remember, folks, good, bad, or otherwise. This dude. So this is Chester County in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He shuts down the town. They close schools. People are staying in their home. People are advised to stay in their homes.
Dude, those videos of people shooting, of him getting into shootouts.
Dude, he
with
got shot.
people.
Yes, people were fucking shooting at him, bro.
My man was playing Grand Theft Auto in real life. He was wilding out. Yo, all that shit, and then gets captured alive.
So I'm wondering.
And then we'll make prisons for children, so that motherfucker's getting out again. Dude, like he fits everywhere.
I'm wondering, bro. I'm like, does he like, do you want to go back to prison if you're him, or do you go out in a blaze of glory, which he didn't?
I thought he was. When
I'm thinking, I thought like, yo, he got the rifle. I'm going like, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna make them kill me. Fuck
yeah,
that.
Right.
Yep.
But no, dude, he's the guy. I mean, he gets caught by the dog. He surrenders the gun, whatever they get him down, and so he's like, other than some bumps and bruises and a bite from a dog, the guy's pretty good, man.
Wow, man. Yo, this is going to be wild because there's going to be a movie with like Tommy Lee Jones playing like a U.S. Marshal trying to track down Kevin Hart. This guy.
So I don't know what you do with that guy. Do you deport him back to Brazil? Do you? But he committed the crime here as well,
because
right?
he already ran from here, right? Yeah, so do you extradite him to serve his time there? But I would think you would want to. I don't want to deal with that. That's our tax dollars.
Right.
We got to keep him
Dude,
alive.
how much did that cost to have teams of
town
guys
shut
out there for 2 weeks looking for this guy?
$2 million.
Dude, they saw the way that they would sort of caught him. They had like a, there was like a what do you call it? like a thermal. They were using like thermal gear essentially to see where there's heat.
Oh, so they could see where he had just been, kind of.
And they
thing?
saw heat like behind this fucking store or whatever, like in the woods. And then they had to wait because they had, I don't know if it was like inclement weather. And then
once it was raining and all kinds of stuff.
Once that passed, then they closed in on him and the dogs got him.
Damn, dude.
So really, man, the humans that took the picture with him, the one didn't even catch him. It was the dogs.
It was a dog. Yeah, you taking credit for something the dog did. It's like you take the picture with like the boar or the giant lion,
bro.
or like the fuck, man. I find it hard to believe because I look at anybody on the 5'8" or 5'9" as a man in the first place. So I'm like, I can't take a picture. You would assume I'm prideful of catching that, but I'm like, I would have like, that's a given, bro. Like, how do you? Fuck, bro. Like
I figured you were like the 5 foot tall thing.
Yeah, man. Like this kid can't even ride a bike. Like, how are you gonna get him? How do you contain him? Like, I'm trying to figure out how you keep him in prison forever. You know what you gotta do? You gotta take this cup, put it upside down. It's like hold him there.
Try to get out of that one.
How the fuck do you? Damn, bro. Yo, this is. There's gonna be a movie about this shit absolutely at some point in time, bro. Mark Wahlberg, somebody.
I'm actually curious of what they do, of what his next stunt is.
Oh yeah, no, because it's not over. Like you said, you go out in a.
If you don't go out in a blaze of glory, then you're going, okay, they'll get me again. I'll get out again.
Yeah, dude, you figure you've escaped an international a prison in Brazil. You made it all the way here.
I don't think he ever went to prison in Brazil.
Oh, he never went. He's sort of like fugitive, like ran before they could get him. Gotcha. Okay.
But man, you fucking end up in the U.S.
You made it here. And then you got out of a prison here, and then yeah, bro. Like I don't know. He'll figure it out, or he'll die trying.
Yep.
Like, some shit's gonna go down. That's gonna be kind of entertaining, bro. You know what we should do? This is how you raise money to fund these prisons. Put a camera in this motherfucker's cell 24/7. I'd watch. I bet. Look at him trying to slide under the crack in the door.
Better yet, bro. Strap a fucking GoPro to him permanently.
That's true. Motherfucker got a spoon and looked like a shovel because he's so little. He digging his way out of prison. Bro, he's going down the sink like a water slide at Aquatica.
Bro, not for nothing. Can you picture that shit that I described to you where you putting two hands on one wall? Like, dude, prison walls are not fucking short, bro.
I was going to say, I've done that scenario. Yeah.
But he's this way.
Yeah, that's right. And the amount of strength it takes to do that. It's so hard, bro.
And then the very top to be able to navigate the barbed wire.
Like, you can only do it because you're that small. You know what I mean? Like jokes aside, like literally, you go. His size helps him.
Instead of just fling this little ass over the wall.
Motherfucker just had to wait for a gusty day, bro, and then just like you know how those fucking the what do you call it? Those parachuter guys who
what the fucking squirrel suits?
The squirrel suits? Yeah, bro. Just get a giant like sweatshirt, run real fast, and just spread that shit. Damn, dude. Yeah, that story was insane, bro. Insane. Yo, it was like a big week for little people though. I don't know if you saw the little Mexican aliens that got uncovered.
No,
bro. The Mexican Congress, and we gotta take this with a grain of salt, came out today, or not the Mexican Congress. These two researchers presented to the Mexican Congress these what they claim to be alien corpses that are each over 1,000 years old.
I'm interested.
And these things have Have you seen the pictures?
No.
All right, I'm going to show you the photo. Here's a photo of what they showed. Mummified almost. Like,
oh, look like an ET head.
Looks like ET exactly. It got 3 fingers. Both of them got 3 fingers. These guys
and they're small?
And they're small. They're tiny. They have giant heads, giant eyes. Allegedly, the scans have shown that one of them has eggs inside.
Oh, shit.
All this crazy shit. Now, these 2 guys have been sort of disproven in the past with other things that they've come up with.
So these guys are sort of like alien researchers?
Yeah, like one of them is a UFOologist. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but he's a self-proclaimed. Like, and the other guy has something to do with like space. But their whole thing was like that these things have been uncovered. They've had them since 2017. They were discovered in Peru, actually.
And how old are they? Supposedly,
they claim that tests have shown that they're over 1,000 years old each.
Oh wow!
Which, bro, I want aliens to be real as much as anybody. Like, I'm all in on this shit. But it's hard not to look at that and not think, like, is this just a different subset of human being? Is this a different species of human being? Like, you know, like you've read Sapiens. Also, like, we used to be...
It's different species of humans.
Different species of human beings.
Right.
That, you know, Homo sapiens are the ones that survived, essentially.
Right.
But there was,
and we kind of bred everybody else out.
Exactly.
But a lot of us still have, like, Neanderthal, for instance.
Correct. That's
DNA.
why if you do those DNAs, you get Neanderthal. But Neanderthal was a different human species. There was, like, Homo sapiens, you know, like Neanderthal.
There's that one in, I'm going to get the name wrong, but it's also the D, and it was in Australia.
Yes. Yeah. I can't remember off the top of my head either. But... you go, like, was this just a different subset of human? Because coincidentally, the other bodies that they presented each had 3 fingers as well. It's been more than one. It's all this other stuff. It's like, okay, is this the deformity that's genetic, that comes from the same sort of tribe or family or whatever? Or,
but what you just showed me there does not look like a human skull.
No, it doesn't. But also, dude, could that just be a retarded toddler?
It is my understanding that you can't use that word anymore.
I'm sorry. Could this be...
We'll bleep that out.
A retarded little person was the toddler part.
No, you used the hard R.
Okay, let me rephrase. Is this an ancient, really slow little person? But dude, I'm not convinced that this is aliens. As much as, listen, I want aliens to be for real, but also, dude, is it? And were they just on Earth and living among us? And the different species of quote unquote human are from other planets. You know, I don't know.
Well, you should be able to. I mean, if you have something like that, you should be able to extract DNA from it.
So they claim that the DNA says that there's at least over 30% of its DNA is not found on Earth. It's not Earthling DNA, and that's what these guys are claiming. And that, you know, they're carrying eggs, again, not normal.
Right.
Like their eyes or something about like the way they see their stereotypic something like that, eyes that are larger than normal human eyes, and they can almost like see. I don't want to say through stuff, but like. Almost in like an infrared type thing. It's like all this shit that they're going.
I wonder how they can tell all that shit from a freaking skeleton.
Well, also, if 30% of the stuff isn't earthly, like how do you know?
How do you know?
Right, because you're assuming that. Okay, you could say 30% of the stuff is unknown matter that we've never sort of discovered or come across, but you can't tell us that it's not from Earth. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of Earth that we haven't explored.
It was also found
underwater
in algae mines in Peru. So. The other part of that where I go, like, could this just be deformities, you know, found in something that has to do with mining and cave people? Because you're saying this thousands of years ago, we didn't have OSHA back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, our coal mines now, or the fucking all the mines we use now for anything aren't the safest. Like, I think it's safe to assume that you're gonna have some things born with a little bigger heads and 3 fingers.
You ever see movies, and obviously these are fictional movies, but movies where it's like humans that I guess sort of evolve like in caves over time, and so they can't really see well, but they can navigate really well in the dark. And then over time they just grow these like deformities.
Big eye, or they look different. Yeah,
they look different.
Yeah, we have a whole state, bro. It's West Virginia.
What's the fuck is the name of that movie? Wrong Turn.
Oh, I was thinking The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that's even better. That Hills Have Eyes was like nuclear shit, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was like a desert nuclear. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want this to be aliens. I hope it's aliens, but I also go. I think I could just as easily go. It's understandable if we find out that this is a bunch of other shit that's not that it is human, or it is a human with a deformity, or that it's a different type of species of human, or whatever. Like, because if you're saying thousands of years old, we're assuming that the humans in their current form have been around for 1 million years, whatever it is, the time frame, a couple 100,000 years, and that we bred off the rest of them. But maybe if you're out talking about a mine in Peru and a town and what yeah,
right. Who knows?
Who knows? Like, yeah,
who knows how much ayahuasca they was doing back then?
And everything we know is based on the shit we have found to date, right? So, right. I don't know, but yeah, I'm like, yo, this shit would be awesome if it was really aliens. If it was, I want it to be true more than anything.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this shit is all. It's a damn distraction.
It's what's happening? What do you think?
I don't know, man. Something else is going on.
They're swearing in a 97-year-old senator this week. What do you think?
Again.
Mitch McConnell just renewed his contract. He don't even run no more. They just renewed.
Yo, man, I'm gonna switch to sports a little bit, man. You see the U.S. Open. I know we did a drink last week based on a drink that's sold at the U.S. Open, but
yeah.
Coco Gauff, who is a 19-year-old woman, wins her first U.S. Open, her first Grand Slam.
Wow, I didn't realize it was her first one. Wow.
Yeah. So Grand Slam is like winning all 4 major championships in the same calendar year. So they got like the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and then the U.S. Open.
Okay.
Right, so she wins.
So each one of them is considered a Grand Slam?
No,
winning all of them.
Winning all of them in the same calendar year.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And so, she was born in Atlanta, but she grew up in Delray, Florida.
Okay.
So Florida girl.
South Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, South Florida girl. I started watching. I mean, I watched tennis like I'll watch some of the big tournaments,
like Wimbledon, U.S. Open,
right? Yeah. But she's been on the scene since she was like 15 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's been around. I feel like we've been hearing her name for a few years now.
Yeah. And so this tournament, man, when I'm watching her play, to me it was like her confidence looked different. She was kind of owning the court. Like there was one in particular, and I can't remember who she was playing against, but she felt like that person was taking too long, and she was very vocal about it. Went up to the judge and was like complaining and like, "Yo, this chick is taking too long. Do your job, like, you know what I mean, like that kind of shit." And in the final, who the hell did she play? Arena Sabalenka, who is actually going to be number 1. She was ranked number 2. Oh. She's going to be ranked number 1.
So she beat the number 1 player in the world,
essentially, right? Who, when I'm watching the match, Sabalenka was, or at least seemed like, bigger, more powerful, even like better shots. Coco's ability to move side to side in the court and keep the balls alive was like crazy.
That was a difference maker. Was like almost her agility on the court.
Yeah, but she would just keep it alive a lot of times, long enough for the other girl to make a mistake.
Just make a mistake. So it's like, I don't have to beat you. I have to make you almost beat yourself.
Yeah,
like, wear you out.
And there was a lot of that, man. And so kudos to her, man. After she won, when they gave her the mic to speak, one thing I thought was cool was she was like, "Yo, thank you to all," and I'm paraphrasing here, but thank you to all the haters. She's like, up until 10 minutes before this match, I was reading social media and all of you guys saying that I was gonna lose and all of that. Like, all that shit fired me up, and I used it as fuel.
For her, man.
Yeah. So that was awesome. And then afterwards, they showed Sabalenka go into the dressing room, like with her. She gets the runner up gets that plate.
Oh, yeah. Which
right?
I never understood. They get like a serving tray. Yeah. Like, this is your new job. That's what you couldn't win. It's a weird fucking, it's literally a serving tray.
Yeah, bro.
And it's like, oh, here, because you couldn't win, practice.
Dude, so she goes in and there's a camera in the locker room kind of like watching. She goes into the locker room, unzips her bag, takes out her racket and starts destroying it on the floor.
It's my favorite part of tennis, by the way, when I watch the players destroy their equipment and then they throw that shit in the garbage. And you know that's what it was. That's like a $2,000 racket. Like fuck.
So she
racket.
did. She destroys her racket on the floor, walks over to the end of the whatever that was, like the dressing area,
so
and dumps it in the trash.
Oh, shit.
And all I could think was, yo, you should have destroyed the serving tray.
Yeah, like what do you? Maybe it's like real silver Shanaka sodas.
Yeah, right. True that. But yo, and it was so Coco Gauff got like the big highlight. On the men's side, Novak Djokovic, right, who has been on the scene forever. Dude, this dude just broke the record, so he's like his 24th Grand Slam title.
But is it? Okay, so now I'm confused because they say 24 Grand Slam, and that's winning all 4 in one year.
In one calendar year.
But then how can Federer have... Doesn't Federer have like 20 something?
Probably, but they ain't 24.
No, but like, you know what I mean? Like they played in the same era. So that would mean you know what I mean? Like every year you win. If you win all of them, that means for 24 years you win those. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it has to be. I think that's their way of saying majors. I think Grand Slams for them are a U.S. Open is a Grand Slam, right? I
could have sworn it was. Let's look it up.
No, you could be right. I think like the terminology. It's like I forget what they call them. You know, golf calls them majors. Like the Masters, the U.S. Open in golf is a major. I think it's tennis's. Tennis has something that they call their big. So like the U.S. Open, the Australian Open.
Wimbledon.
I'm trying to think, and they're considered
the French one, right?
I think it's the French Open.
No, so I'm looking Wikipedia. Grand Slam in tennis is the achievement of winning all 4 major championships in one discipline in a calendar year. So don't know.
So how many does Djokovic have?
24.
How many does Rafael Nadal have? And then Federer. Because I'm like, then there's something I don't understand about this.
22.
Rafael Nadal. Something 22. Doesn't add up.
Yeah, right. Now I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
But I don't. So I don't know. Okay. I'm not a tennis expert.
Either way, it doesn't matter. It's bananas. What Djokovic has done is like, it's similar to that run that Tiger had in golf, where it was this. I don't know that people can quite grasp what Tiger did during a period of time, but Tiger has as many majors as like. There was a point in time where he won like all of them in a row for like 2 years. It was something stupid.
It's sick,
like,
bro.
It's so sick. And every once in a while, we get someone like a Jordan Spieth or whatever who will win like 2 in a row, and people are like,
"Man, this guy's great," right?
And they fall off the face of the earth. Like it's so like Tiger. What Tiger did was just astronomical. Djokovic, it's even more impressive than
right. Like he's that for this sport.
Yeah, dude. Djokovic has been, and dude, you know what's nuts about tennis is that you could argue that 4 of the greatest tennis players of all time on the men's side have played in this era. And what if they didn't have each other to contend with? Like Nadal, Federer,
like how many
Djokovic.
Would they have?
Yeah, how many would they have if they? Like Pete Sampras didn't have to go through fucking Rafael Nadal. What's it? McIlroy didn't have to go through. Rafael Nadal and fucking Roger Federer and maybe Federer, but like Djokovic, like. These guys all played in the same era, all 3 of them. I mean, it's like having LeBron, Jordan, fucking and Kobe all play in their prime at the same time. It's fucking nuts. Like I know tennis isn't like a big sport here or followed as popular, but like what you're witnessing, like we may never see this again, where you get 3 all-time greats in an individual sport at the same time and. Just playing at this high of a level, it's just insane, bro. And for Djokovic to be sort of the guy he's already playing against 2 guys in his era who are already all time. Yep. Great. It's nuts, man.
Now they got that kid who got bumped out, the Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, he's
a
nasty.
Stud in the making. Yeah. It looks like, man. He's like
he'll be there. He'll be one of those guys. I mean, if he has a longevity.
Yeah, like he might be the next generation of thing. Yeah, because you go again, like maybe you get one guy like that over the next decade. Like Federer, I think is done, right? Is Federer officially retired?
I don't know.
And then I think Nadal.
Because I haven't heard his name in a while. So.
Yeah, and I think Federer just retired. I think Nadal says he's getting to the end, and then Djokovic looks like he'll still play for a little while.
Yeah, but even him, like he's towards the tail end of his
career. Yeah. Like he's on the way, like the curve's on the way down, but he's still fucking dominant.
He's
man.
nasty.
So you just go, he could probably play 5 more years. Because Federer played into his 40s, I think, right? Like Federer was dominant, and he was still dominant. Like he was still dominant, I think, at like late 30s, early 40s. Yep. And I want to say Djokovic might be younger than me, or
he's definitely 35-ish. Yeah.
So this guy's got 5 years probably where he could play, and if he's still winning majors, man,
go for it.
Go for it, man. Like good for that guy.
Yeah.
Dude.
So shout out to those two, Coco Gauff and Djokovic.
Bro, did you see Adesanya get his ass completely handed to him?
I have to watch it. I did not see it. I saw a clip of him getting clipped.
Oh my God, bro! I went on YouTube and was watching the round. 'Cause I didn't see it live, so then I went back and I wanted to see like
ESPN Plus will have it.
Oh yeah, I need to wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
I think it takes a week, right? And then they drop
so.
it on there. Yeah, dude, he gets. I saw like he is getting completely. It wasn't even that it's not like a upset knockout. He gets dominated for 5 rounds.
Oh, really?
And then I listened to the Fight Companion from like Joe Rogan. And then the whole time those guys are like, this is nuts. Like, this isn't competitive.
Oh, wow.
It isn't
like that?
competitive. Dude, you talk about one of the greatest strikers of all time goes up against Strickland, and they're like, he can't land a punch against this guy. And Strickland, I don't know if you've ever seen Strickland.
No, I haven't. I'm not
Sean
familiar.
Strickland beat Israel Adesanya this week. And Sean Strickland is unique in that, like, he uses that Philly shell thing that boxers, that some of the all-time great boxers, like Floyd uses that whole Philly shell thing, which is
that like where
the shoulder roll where
yes.
Dude, he fights like that in MMA. So
shit.
it's really bizarre to see because he like comes in like that. It's masterful in how he does it to Adesanya from the, and I saw maybe a minute or two of each round, and it was like, dude, it was every time Adesanya pulled off something, it was like he was waiting for it, would just roll it out, would almost slap his hand away, catch him with something, like, and he was always catching him with his right hand. He stumbles, Adesanya drops him, which is the first time Adesanya's been dropped in that weight class. I think, like, dropped and then recovers. Luckily, it's towards the end of the first round. He almost never seems to recover from that shot, and then gets his ass handed to him. It is the greatest upset in MMA history in terms of the odds on the side. Like, it's Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua. It's Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson. Like, if you don't follow UFC, you don't understand the magnitude of Sean Strickland beating Israel Adesanya.
So
massive.
is there? I'm assuming there's a rematch.
Yeah,
for that, right?
Dude, it's one of those where you go, I don't know what you fix.
I don't know if I want to see it. Right?
Yeah, it's Terrence Crawford, Spence, where you go, I don't know what changes. Like, styles make fights. Maybe Izzy comes out and goes, he had an injury and he just went through with the fight.
Yep. And
he couldn't throw this hand or couldn't think on this foot or whatever. Dude, Strickland, not only does the Philly shell really well, he checks. You know, Izzy likes to throw that kick that catches you in those calves.
Yep.
He checks every single kick. It's almost like he knows what's coming every single time. And it's like, kick, check, kick, check, kick, check. Oh, punch. Oh, up, swerve. And you're talking, again, Adesanya is known potentially as the greatest striker in the history of the MMA. Great, like, you're talking Floyd Mayweather level accuracy, doesn't waste energy, doesn't waste punches, couldn't land a shot against this guy.
Yeah, you wonder if something was going on there. And you know what? I mean, his last fight was his redemption fight, right? And you
were the emotions too high, and then he took this guy too lightly, and then but it almost like he even looked, I don't want to call it disinterested, because I think it, by saying that, it takes away from what Sean Strickland did. Of course. But you got to wonder, was he hurt? Did he go in there and go, fuck, I wasn't expecting this from this guy, and then he just gets like demoralized and is whatever. But he doesn't even, you know how we always say, like, where guys fight Floyd and everyone's like, he didn't look like Izzy. It's like that. But you want to go, it's like you want to make excuses for going, like, he's got to be hurt. There's no way. It looks so bad. Right. It looks so bad. So I'm curious.
So it'd be interesting to see, man, if he wants the rematch.
Yeah, if he wants the rematch and he comes back out and he just goes, because I go, if you were fully healthy and there was nothing going on there and you didn't have anything broken or pulls, or, you know, like, because it made me think of, like, is it Pacquiao against Mayweather, where you go, yo, I was fighting on one arm, and you go, I don't think the result's going to change, but okay. Where you could go, if Izzy goes, yo, I was fighting on one arm here, you could go, okay, like, understandable. You didn't seem to be able to land shit. You weren't quick. You weren't responsive, you know, whatever. If not, there's nothing to see here, bro. Like, it wasn't close. It's like, it was literally.
I gotta watch that now.
Yeah, dude, it's Crawford Spence. Like, but Crawford Spence, but Crawford being the Sean Strickland and not known to be that good.
Right.
Like Sean Strickland known to be a good striker, probably one of the best boxers in the UFC. He's not all time. You know what I mean? Like he's not like this.
Right. So it's just so unexpected.
Yeah, even he's like, dude, it's so bad during the fight, especially in the last round. He's talking shit to Izzy while he's hitting him.
Get the fuck
like
out
talking
of
shit,
here.
going,
Really?
bro, come on, like this is it. And he literally goes, yo, man, I was like, yo, is there something wrong with him? Like this is fucking easy.
Right.
Like he was like, this is cake.
Wow.
And he was talking so much. And Sean Strickland is known. That's why he's so popular. He's a shit talker, and he's an all-time shit talker. And they asked him, dude, one of my favorite things in a press conference beforehand, they're like, oh, did you practice like a ton of wrestling and all this shit or thing, like just in case like Izzy's on as a striker, but you probably want to take him down. You don't want to get in that game with him. He goes, yeah, I practice all that. But honestly, bro, you get punched. I turn into a total retard out there. I just do whatever the fuck I want. And that's like the 5th time I've said retard on this show, so I think I've met my quota.
Officially canceled. Dude, you seen the NFL this week, man? NFL opening week.
Favorite time of the year, man.
Dude, obviously the big news of the week is Aaron Rodgers out for the season. I'm sure most of you have seen that already. And you know, I was torn on I was torn on this, man.
I know you're a Bears fan and you've got
I was torn on this one, bro, because he has been torching my Bears for, you know, they've been getting torched by first it was Brett Favre, and then that guy finally leaves, and you go like, who's this guy from California? And then he comes in and fucking dominates and fucking owns the Bears for all these years, right? So finally he leaves, and so I have to say, yo, there's still some in here, bro. So
yeah,
just fitting, the guy who takes him out is a guy that the Bears drafted. Is Leonard Floyd.
See, I didn't know that.
The Bears, he played for us for several years. It's a guy that so Leonard Floyd takes him out and he tries to get away from the sack. It was way too late. He should have just went down.
He should have went down. Yeah,
just went down. And if you guys saw the video, you can see it at one point his calf just vibrates, and I guess that's the Achilles tendon just snapping, right? So the Jets, who ended up winning the game, seem to have a really good defense.
Oh my God, yeah.
They've got weapons on offense. So if what's Zach? What the hell is his name?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
If he can not lose the games for them, you know, they still probably have a good season
in a great division because the Dolphins look like they could potentially be legit. The Bills are going to be the Bills, although I think the Bills regress this year.
Or is it just Josh Allen? I don't know, bro. Like,
here's what's going to happen is that you have so much money and the franchise sort of invested in Josh Allen that this year is going to cost the coach his job. So I think by the end of the year, you know, the coach, I mean, you never hope for someone to get fired, but I do think they'll end up moving in a different direction.
If they don't get to at least where they were last year.
Yeah, you need to be in the AFC title game or you let them go, right? Like, if you get there, then you can make an argument to keep them. I think the argument would be that they feel like they've given Josh Allen enough. They feel like that team has enough. Dude, I would also venture to say if you look at the turnovers that Josh Allen has over his last 20 games, a lot of this shit is on him. Dude, he's got, as far as fumbles and interceptions go,
it's kind of insane.
Dude, I think he averages 2 turnovers a game or a little bit more. Like the average is like 2.3 or whatever turnovers.
And he had
over
4 in this game.
Yes. So over his last 20 games, I think he averages 2.5. That's fucking a lot.
That's a lot.
It's like 2.3, 2.4. Like, and that's a combination of fumbles and interceptions. And he had plenty. He had 2 fumbles this game and 2 picks?
No, 3 picks and 1 fumble.
And 1 fumble. Yeah. So it's like
3 picks to the same guy.
Oh, which, dude, you know what my favorite part about that is that guy has contract incentives, and one of his contract incentives is 3 picks in the season, and he gets it in game 1.
Get the fuck
So he made
outta
$250K by getting 3 picks in that game.
Nice.
I love that. I can't think of his name, the corner of.
No, I can't think of either, man.
Fuck, but yeah, he's I'm like, good for that kid,
awesome,
man. He's awesome. He made his one of his incentives, so now he gets a $250,000 bonus for picking off Josh Allen 3 times. Which I'm like, he probably wants to play Josh Allen all the time. But which again, Josh Allen is a stud, man. But I do think you have to go. And maybe he's like Brett Favre in this sense, where Brett Favre threw a lot of picks because he took a lot of chances and he had a lot of confidence in his arm and all that. And you just go, that's just, you have to live with that to get the greatness, and the greatness outweighs the turnovers. And maybe that's what you get with Josh Allen, because I don't know that you move away from Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen is still.
Yeah, that'd be a hard move.
Yeah, dude, when he's on, he's on.
Right.
You know
Unless you trade him for another sort of like
Joe Burrow or fucking Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Like you go, Josh Allen's don't fall out of trees, so you just go, you have to take the good with the bad. Yep. It's almost like Andrew Luckish. I remember Andrew Luck would throw picks a lot initially, but you just went, but he's taking chances, he's throwing the ball downfield, and when he's on, he's on, man. And so you got to take the good with the bad. So that Bills team is going to be interesting, but I feel like they regress this year, man. I feel like they regress. I don't like to overreact either to week 1. I always say NFL, we don't know who teams are until week 6, 7. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, you're not as bad or as good as they say you are until week 6 or 7, and after that, I go, you are who you are. Like, you don't normally.
The teams actually stood out to me. Actually, 4 teams stood out to me, man. I thought it was the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Dolphins, and the Browns.
Oh.
Those are the 4 teams that stood out to me. The Dolphins. You see the Dolphins game? Dolphins game was incredible. So I'm watching the Bears game and I just turn it off because Green Bay is scraping us again with the 3rd fucking quarterback now, bro. Like, dude, I have a funny story about it. So I literally, so I'm in the pool. I got a TV outside. I'm getting ready for the game, right? I'm watching it, and it just gets worse as the game goes on, right? So I ended up turning it off, or not turning it. I ended up changing the channel to the Dolphins game and watching the end of that. That was a great game. Great ending.
Great ending.
Yeah. The next day, I have a buddy of mine that I've known since high school. Shout out to you, Max.
Shout out, Max.
I whenever I need to feel good or feel hope about the Bears, I call this guy.
Oh, he's that.
Because he will always tell me, don't worry, we're going to get this guy, or like, we're not losing any more games. He's so
We're about to run the table right here. We're about to run the table right here.
We'll be 0-6, and he'll be like, we're not losing any more games.
Justice Fields is about to drink the Wakanda juice. He's going to be lit for the rest of the season. It's a wrap.
Bro, so he hits me up and he goes, hey, man, we're going to go see the 18-1 Bears play Tampa this weekend. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to go pay for, to watch mediocrity, right? And he goes, dude, don't worry about it. It's Luke Getsy, who is their offensive coordinator, who came from Green Bay. He's like, Luke Getsy's a spy. Don't worry. We're going to get rid of him. We're not losing any more games. And you know what? Reading that shit, I'm like, fucking, he's probably right.
He makes him. Yo, sports fans are the best.
Go Bears, baby.
The Bears. Yo, sports are the best because nothing makes us more unreasonable. Stupider. They're fucking sportsy. I've been getting let down by the Titans for 20-something years.
Bro.
Or 30 years
Most
now.
of my life has been disappointing.
Yeah. But in your lifetime, your team has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, once.
Yeah, fucking my team has lost it by a yard, and then the rest of we have been the pillar of of average. 8-8. I remember we used to call Jeff Fisher Mr. 8-8 because it was like you can't even suck enough to get a good
fired
pick and get fired. Like, it was fucking infuriating.
That's right. He was with you guys for a long time.
Yeah, bro. We can catch a break.
Former Bear.
Jeff Fisher, he's a linebacker, right? We couldn't catch a break that the 1 year we had, not 1 year, but obviously we had Steve McNair, who was a fucking legend. Yeah. And he goes off one season, and it's the only season in NFL history where they named co-MVPs. He has to share it with Peyton Manning.
Really?
Steve McNair has a co-MVP with Peyton Manning.
Oh, shit.
And he goes off. And Peyton Manning
was that a Super Bowl year?
Murdering. No, this is like 02, 03. This is a little bit later. The Super Bowl year would have been 2000.
Okay.
The season of '99, but the Super Bowl played in
Yes,
February
yes.
of 2000. Yeah. And that's that greatest show on turf, Rams, that
Yes.
won back to back.
Yep.
Or no,
No, it didn't win
went
back-to-back. They went
and lost to the
back-to-back.
Patriots. Yeah. But yeah, man, the fucking they just couldn't catch a break, and I had to watch them this weekend lose by 1 in the most infuriating fashion. Because, dude, one thing I will have to say, I'm not a fan of preseason football, but it does make when the people played more preseason football. And they actually gave, like, you remember before that you gave guys a quarter or a half at least.
Yep.
And now, like, a lot of teams aren't playing starters at all. And if they do, it's like
Even in
very
like
short.
the third and fourth week? Really?
Nope. Like, they only do 3 now.
It's 3. Okay, it's 3.
And maybe everyone in the third might get a series.
Okay.
Dude, it shows because for the first like half, it's unwatchable football. And I felt like that every game I watched this weekend. I'm like, this is so sloppy. Like
Because in past years, like the third and fourth game, you were seeing more of the team.
Yes, right. It was like, okay, dress rehearsal almost by the third and fourth game. Now everyone's afraid of injuries, obviously. And then because we have the 17 weeks, and then there's this like...
That's what it was, right? They took away a preseason game
and then
they
extended
added
the season. So there's 18 weeks, 17 games now.
Yep.
So it's that, and then it's the no one wants to give away anything they do, so they're not really actually running the schemes and the plays that they would normally do. It's really meant for the guys who are trying to make the team now, right? And the rookies and all that. Like, and I get it, but what it does do, man, is that it makes the slate week 1 unwatchable for the first half. Like, it's just penalties after penalty and just sloppy execution on everything, bro. Like, and I know, like, especially for the Titans, new offensive coordinator, completely new offensive line, new wide receiver 1, and it's just like the throws are going like, you're like, bro, did you know what route he was running? It was just one of those, like, the penalties are just the Titans, and shout out to the crowd in New Orleans. The Titans played the Saints, and I know a lot of that has to do with the crowd. They must have had 10 false starts in the first like 4 minutes because they couldn't hear. It was so loud.
Wow. That's dope.
How you are not prepared for that is crazy. But I go, okay, brand new O-line, brand new, everything. Like, you guys don't know how to communicate. There was false starts being called on wide receivers because it was so loud, bro. It's awesome. Like, that crowd in New Orleans, you're like, yo, you guys earned that. You did that for your team, because you could see dudes looking at each other like, I don't know what the fuck. And that stadium is notoriously loud. But week 1, they're excited to have Derek Carr now. It was just insane.
Yeah, and I don't want to write anybody off, but
no,
if it keeps going the way it's going, like as of week 1, like this Cowboys team and the 49ers team looks like the 90s Cowboys, 49ers that met in those NFC championships. Like it's very reminiscent of that. Man, so let's see, bro. Because
you're right.
Dak Prescott, we've been giving Dak Prescott, shit for years, right? And so is the media and everything, man. So
I'm not gonna give him credit for beating the Giants. So, but we'll see.
Man, that was
the Giants are just.
Let me tell you, I was pretty. I wasn't pissed because I just was disgusted, and I turned the game, and then that evening, I was like, man, I'm glad I'm not a Giants fan.
Listen, I was clowning them when they paid Daniel Jones, and I know the pushback I got was, well, that's the market now, which
whatever.
I get, whatever, bro. Like, you could
not for that guy.
You could go draft a rookie and get the same. You know what I mean? Like, or you could go pick up Nick Foles or someone off who's not playing right now, who's Carson Wentz, and you can get the same result. Like, it's not going to cost you. Daniel Jones is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL now, right? Like, he's making stupid money.
It's stupid.
Like, no, I don't think so, man. And he might end up.
Dude, and to say that he is worth more than Saquon Barkley?
No.
I mean,
no, but. Fuck, man. That's
again, it's by position, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one because listen, man. The running backs, it's weird because you can go back a decade and running backs are still taking number 1 or maybe a little bit more than that in the NFL draft. They were a really big part of your team. Adrian Peterson might have been the last big name running back that got taken early on. But you remember McFadden and all those guys. It was like all this hype where these guys were gonna be number 1.
Right.
There was no question about it. Every year it was like a running back was getting taken number 1, and it was like the most important, like, glamorous position in the NFL. And it almost, I don't want to say that it doesn't matter, because it does. And as a Titans fan, Derrick Henry has been huge for us. I think what's happened is that these teams winning the Super Bowls aren't winning it on the backs of stud running backs who are getting paid astronomical amounts. You know,
true.
like you look at what Tampa did. You look at what the Chiefs have done. You know, they're like running back by committee almost.
Right.
And they're almost like, oh, they're a dime a dozen. You build a good O-line, anybody can run behind them. And I don't want to diminish that position. So I understand why you don't pay Saquon, but it's hard to argue that he isn't more valuable to the Giants than Daniel Jones. Not the position isn't more valuable,
correct?
But the player is
player,
more valuable.
yes.
Absolutely, yeah,
dude, absolutely, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be interesting to see. I do think you. So I find it odd, like, to do predictions early on in the season. But one of the things I can say, or I feel fairly confident about, is you're not going to get the same Philly team from last year. I know they won. I don't think you're going to. I think that team regresses. I think there's no way that you lose, you know, a lot of your assistant coaches because of the success they had and still run it back. So you're not going to get a Philly team that's in the NFC title game again, and you're not going to get.
Yeah, they kind of struggled against the Patriots. Which I don't know if that's credit to the Patriots.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots are a tough out. Like, we were talking about that division with the Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills. The Patriots are a tough out, which is why I think the Jets look like a team that are a quarterback away from being a competitor or being 5 and thing or 6 and whatever, like mediocre, from not having Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
like,
dude. If they go 8-8, I mean, that is a
8-9 now.
That's a sorry. Yes,
it throws you off, right?
That's right. I forgot.
I did that all of last year where I would go. No. If they go 8-8, it's a disappointing team. You know, they go 500, it's a disappointing team. Like, it's just strange, man. So we'll see. I love NFL. You know, good to see, dude. Hook 'em horns, baby. Hook 'em horns.
Dude, so this week we had 9/11.
Yeah.
What did the coach of the Jets?
Oh man, I thought this was a great story this week, man. I wanted to link in with NFL and obviously the 9/11. Robert Saleh, the coach to the New York Jets, had a brother that worked at the towers, I think, on 9/11. His brother managed to escape that day.
Okay.
What it did, Robert Saleh worked in finance accounting at the time.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't know.
He was a fucking
finance
NFL,
and accounting guy
NFL
at that
head
time.
coach now?
Yeah. The 9/11 thing, his brother surviving that, he said it sparked something in him that he went, tomorrow isn't promised. And he said he called his brother. He's like, I have to leave what I'm doing now. I'm not happy doing this. I want to be in football. I need to be in football. I have to be in football. And so that inspires him or motivates him to drop his career in finance, probably a pretty lucrative career.
That's in 2001.
2001, and goes into football, does the whole route with the entry-level positions and starts on the bottom and works his way there. And he is now the head coach of the New York Jets, 20 years later.
Wow.
Which I thought was cool. I didn't know that about him. I didn't know that. And when you hear him, you go, I always thought, like, you don't sound like a football guy. Like, when you hear him speak,
oh, really?
Yeah, like, I've watched, like, a couple of the Hard Knock stuff, and when he speaks, you're like, okay, you don't sound like I don't know what the word is, but I guess because I work in finance and accounting, he just has this way of speaking that you're like, okay, you've got something else in there, and I didn't realize that it was a whole finance thing and the background there. So I'm like, okay, there's a different level, or
he's got the corporate lingo going.
Yeah, exactly. There's a way he carries himself, and I guess certain words that he uses and all that, a vocabulary and all that. That I was like, okay, I don't get like full blown lifetime football guy from you, and so it made sense. But I thought it was. I don't want to call it, glass half full, but it was just a really neat story to link to the head football coach to the New York Jets. That, something like that was what inspired him to sort of go there.
Right, and then to come full circle to end up in New York.
And end up, right. It's like, you could have ended up,
anywhere,
in Seattle,
bro.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever. But to do that and go, that day I thought I lost my brother. Luckily, he made it out, did all stuff. And then, like, it sort of, made him feel like, fuck, man, tomorrow isn't promised.
It was a catalyst.
It could have been
for him
quick. Exactly. And that's what he says. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I almost lost my brother, this and that. And it was a cool story, man. I didn't realize that about him. I didn't know he worked in finance. I didn't know that that's what inspired him to pursue football further and all that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
man. Good for him.
So good for him, man. It was a really cool story.
Dude, did you see the NBA this week? They voted to impose fines on teams resting players.
I love the rule, too.
Dude, as a fan, I love the rule.
Yeah.
I don't know how the players feel about it. I don't know how that impacts championships, right? Because So here's the thing for me, man. From a fan standpoint, especially watching like big games, right?
Yeah.
When you've seen the big games on TV, even like the Christmas games that come on, right? Like you want to see the stars, especially if you pay tickets. If you pay an entry fee to be at the game and you're not watching it on TV, you want to see the stars.
Yeah.
And so from that perspective, I go, that's great. Like from a fan perspective. But then the other thing I'm going is like, if the guys get hurt throughout the year and are not available for those championship runs, then there's always that, you know what, so-and-so wasn't available. So what, like they would have won had so-and-so been there.
But then shouldn't you then make the regular season mean more, make it shorter?
I think you make it shorter.
A sense of urgency. Yeah. Which I like what they're doing with the whole mid-season tournament thing now in the NBA.
I was gonna say, what is that?
They're literally having like a tournament in December. I think it's like a mid-season championship type thing, and
I'm glad
the
you
winner
said that.
gets something. Yeah.
So the rules around this shit is like, if you do it, it's like it's for national televised games, for in-season tournament games, which I was like, what is that?
Yeah, it's a new in-season tournament halfway. Which, look, by the way, it sounds foreign and crazy to us that you would have it. Like, we're not going to give a fuck about that. All the major international soccer leagues do this, and the biggest sports in the world. You think of Champions Leagues, you think of La Liga, you think of Bundesliga, you think of all, and they have all these like cups and stuff that they do, and they're huge. In mid-season, I think it's something that we'll gravitate to. I think it'll catch on. I think it sounds like weird to us now,
like a mid-season championship.
It is, and it'll give us a reason to care. And it's right before the holidays. People are home more. They're, maybe they're shopping and ready, but they're like, oh yeah, I watch basketball now. Maybe you're taking weeks off of work for the holidays.
Yep.
You're already watching football. I'm like, I could see us totally buying in. It's winter. You're not going out. All this stuff. Like I could see us totally buying into a mid-season tournament. Even if it's just for bragging rights. And I know there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out of it that they actually get.
Yes, this is the first year they're doing it.
Yes, they're going to do it this year. Yeah.
So that makes sense. So
the WNBA does it already, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which theirs, I think their playoffs start tonight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So the fines for this, so if you do rest your players, $100,000 for the first violation, $250,000 for the second, and then after that, it's $1 million more than the previous penalty for each additional violation.
Oof. Because you're willing to eat one or two of those.
I was gonna say, I think the one or two, I think you're probably fine with.
You'll eat them, and teams will definitely plan around that. Yeah. Especially last month of the season, I'll take a,
100K hit.
Yeah, if you're the Warriors, you're playing, a shitty Pelicans team on, the last week of the season, I'll take 100K, or last month, whatever. Like, yeah. I'll take 200. You might eat the mill.
But like I said, so this is, and I want to say it's not, it's for teams that have, I think it's for teams that have more than like one like star player.
Yeah.
I forget how they're
It's
judging.
If you've made an all-star team or an all-NBA team within the past 3 seasons, you're considered a star. So I like it that they define that too, because it's not this subjective, ambiguous thing. It's if you've made all NBA or an NBA all-star team within the last 3 seasons, you're considered a star, and so you can't rest 2 of those players at the same time.
That's
you
it.
can't
2 of the players at the same time. Yep.
Which I think it's bitch.
I like it, bro.
Dude, so much of the NBA, like to take your point further about like if you buy tickets to a game and you spent your hard-earned money and like if you go in with your buddies, with your kids, with whatever, and then Steph Curry sits out and he's not hurt, it's fucked up. It's
bro,
like
and
I
it's
paid money
so
to see him.
expensive, bro.
It is. It's ridiculous. I would take that further and say if I turn on the TV and Steph Curry and Clay are sitting out and the Warriors are playing the Timberwolves, I'm not watching. Or Portland, I'm not watching. Like, I don't care that the other team might have its stars playing. You don't on your side, so suddenly the game's less interesting. Yeah. And so from that, you're costing the league ad revenue, ratings, which then spew into the next negotiation when they go back to the TV rights and all this stuff. Like, you're costing the league money in ways like in that, and you're costing fans. I think, like, again, if I go or if I tune in, I want to see players who are healthy play and play at a high level.
And not for nothing, for anybody who's looked for tickets, even here in Orlando, right, the Magic, if you go to look for Magic when they play like the other teams that have stars,
it's more
the
expensive.
tickets are more expensive.
Yeah, and they don't drop it if those stars rest.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like the Magic play. To your point, like the Magic play, I don't know, a Toronto team that isn't a star-studded whatever right now. It's, you might spend $40 on a decent ticket or 50. I'm just gonna pick a number. The Lakers are in town. You're paying $250 for an upper deck. Like it's just, it just is what it is. But then if the Lakers sit out Anthony, and Davis
LeBron.
and LeBron, I still pay $250 for that ticket.
Yeah.
You still charge me a premium. So I absolutely agree with this. I like this. I think availability is part of the greatness. Like, it's one of the things like LeBron. Obviously, LeBron's been hurt more in the last 2 seasons, but it's one of the things that for the first 17 years made him part of his greatness was he was always available. Kobe, you saw this, and so Kobe had an Achilles injury similar to what Aaron Rodgers got. Towards the tail end of his career, but Kobe played every game, and I love his wife had come out and said, if he was a little sore or whatever, and she would be like, yo, just sit out. He would be like, no, because somebody paid a lot of money to see me today.
That's dope.
And I thought that was such a great mentality because it shows a self-awareness that you have too of that. Because listen, it's your 700th game as a player, whatever. Like for some of these guys that have been around for a long time, it's a lot of people's first time seeing you, a lot of people's birthday presents, gifts, saving up however many months, whatever to pay. Like for a lot of people, you can't just spew, a few $100s to go watch an NBA game. Dude.
Right.
Because even to your point, if 2 people go watch the Magic and you want decent seats and you want to eat food and you want to have a drink while you're there and you're whatever, you're spending a few $100s minimum. Easy. So it's just I think it's the least you owe me the best available product. Like, I can understand if they're hurt, but if they're not. So shout out, dude. Adam Silver has been, I think, amazing for the NBA.
Yeah.
With the gambling.
He's been a great commissioner. Bro.
And this, he's been a great commissioner, man. Adam Silver's really, I think, stepped up. Yeah.
Let the guy smoke weed.
He did. He tests for everything except weed now. Yeah. I was like, he fucking gets it, bro. I'm like, he gets it, dude. He gets it. I'm like, between the gambling, the weed, doing something about this, expanding internationally. I saw the NFL is now requiring, as of next season, they're giving an extra roster spot, but it has to be given to an international player. And so it's the NFL's way to now expand internationally.
That's dope.
In our lifetime, I know the rumor.
They'll all be kickers.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. You've seen, is it the Jets? Somebody has a 30-year-old rookie, and they're a punter. No. And he's from Australia. And he's like,
it's fucking rugby player.
It's exactly what he is or some shit like that. So,
that's dope.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
All right, man. How we doing on time?
Yo, hour 11.
Damn. All right. We gonna kill it with talk to me about breastfeeding.
Yo, man. It's one of our favorite pastimes.
I don't even know.
We gonna make a drink one day called the mammary gland.
I'll buy the coconut milk.
That's what we were trying to pull off today. But, bro, there's this woman this came out this week. I got to get her name, man. But it's Rachel Bailey. So she says she's been breastfeeding her husband for a few years now, since 2017. And the breastfeeding has strengthened their bond. The 30-year-old mom of 3 says she began breastfeeding him in 2017, and they have been closer ever since. She's like, they were on a cruise in 2017.
Okay.
And she didn't bring her breast pump. And so at the time, I guess she had just given birth. She had a breast pump. She didn't give it out. So her husband, Alexander, offered to drink it in order to help alleviate the pain.
Right.
Of course he didn't alleviate the pain. Yeah. Been there, buddy.
Let me help you with that.
Yeah, let me help you with that. Baby, I just want to look out for you. Let me pump that for you. And then the rest is history, bro. So it did it for that. He's been doing it ever since.
He didn't let that shit go away.
Nope.
He didn't let it dry up.
Nope. He's like, I'm gonna take care of that every time it come up, like a little squirrel. He's all up in there.
Put some of that in the gin.
But she goes, I was laughing. Bro, she was like, it's not a kink for us. It started because Alexander was helping me out when I was in pain, but it turned into more of an emotional bonding.
It wasn't a kink for you.
Nah, it was
for him.
100% for him, bro. 100%. And he threw that shit out there thinking you would say no. And you said, yeah. He's like, I'm not wasting this opportunity. And he liked it.
It wasn't a kink for me, but for some reason, we always had sex afterwards.
Yeah. So I just,
Dude, so we both have kids. Have you ever done that?
I can't remember, man. Like I feel like I have to have.
All right, well, let me speak on it.
I'm pretty sure I have. I don't. Listen, if I did, it wasn't a memorable experience where I'm like, you got to try breast milk.
Let me speak on it for the people. What's this guy's name?
His name
Alexander or some shit.
Yeah, Alexander Bailey.
Alexander, I'm with you. That shit. That I don't even know why.
Okay.
I've done that.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. I don't know why.
Like flavor?
No, it was not about flavor. There's something almost like aphrodisiac.
I don't even like my milk coming from animals. I want almond. So it's like an aphrodisiac effect to the milk?
To the milk.
Okay, do you think that was mental, like hormonal?
I wish I knew, bro. You know, there's some things you just go, I don't know why.
Yeah,
but I like it.
All right, so you drank it and it just made you want to fuck?
Well, I think that we were sort of like in the act anyway, and then that just was like a
carnal,
like an intensifier.
Gotcha. Okay, I could see that. I guess where it's like this.
Yeah, I was really sad.
Yeah, it's like this carnal like thing. Yeah,
I was really sad when we let that go.
You gotta keep doing it, and they'll keep producing. You gotta be like Alexander, bro.
That was a long time.
She ain't give birth since 2017. She's still producing milk. But they ain't tell you that was the last shot. No, actually, that's a pertinent part of the story. I should probably look that up. Like, when did they?
No, I bet. You know what I mean? Like, dude,
women will produce milk as long as it's being used.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with fucking cows.
Yeah.
They get pregnant, they produce the milk, and then we just keep fucking draining them, and so they keep producing.
That's true, because a woman who's never been pregnant, I think, can produce milk if it's needed almost. Like, there's the stories of like...
Really?
Yeah, there's stories of like women who have never given birth, but there's a baby nearby.
How do you
do
that?
Like crying baby, like over time, and like you almost try. It's like your body is like almost genetically programmed to be like,
That's
I have
insane.
to. Like, yeah, dude, the bodies are crazy, man.
I'm about to buy recordings of babies crying. And just play and watch.
By recording, subliminally.
You're like,
hey, baby, you know what I've been missing from my diet?
Did you hear that baby crying last night? No, I didn't hear nothing. That was a dream.
You know what I've been missing from my diet? Some of that.
Dude, I don't know if it's a considered a fetish or I don't know.
Yeah, is it? I guess again, it is, right? Because pregnancy porn is a thing.
But it wasn't one of those things to where I was just like, oh my god, I gotta have that. It was like I found out about it by mistake.
I mean,
and then I was like, oh, this is dope.
You found out that you liked it by mistake, but you didn't try it by mistake.
No. Yes. But I wasn't going in trying to get it either.
No, you got.
But obviously, you know, because she was producing, then it just flowed.
Fuck, man, I have so many questions and like visuals that are weird.
I'm gonna have to run this segment by her to see if it's okay to post it.
Yeah, we have to delete. This whole thing is just gonna be a bleep. Because what if? Well, nah, I guess it's like a cum shot. You squeeze the titty and the milk shoots at you mid thing. Like, does that get you more?
Yeah,
I guess it would. I don't know if it's a fetish thing. There has to be like you launch your OnlyFans. Listen, this might be the move, bro. OnlyFans and no sex, you just breastfeed. You might not even need an OnlyFans. You could do it on YouTube or Instagram and just have people subscribe. It's educational. It's health-wise.
You can show that shit if it's like that.
Now, did you experience any health benefits? Did you feel smarter? Were you more focused after this?
That I cannot.
What did they say? You should breastfeed your kids because then they're like, there's all these like.
It's all kind of like nutritional values,
but
it's like everything, right? Like, yeah, makes them smarter. Makes them.
I really wish I could remember now, man. Because I don't. Whatever it was, my experience. I'm pretty sure I have. My experience clearly wasn't like one where I'm like, I gotta have it. So. Yeah, now we need volunteers. Hey, listeners, you guys want to donate for our next cocktail? We want to try. I'm telling you, the memory gland, bro. We got this.
That's it.
It's the memory gland.
It's gin and breast milk.
Gin and breast milk. We got this, man. They hook it up. Look it up for science.
Yo, and on that, tell them where they can find us.
Woo, you're not already following us at the Carbon Food Podcast on IG, the Carbon FP Pod on TikTok, the Carbon Football Podcast on YouTube, on Facebook, X. So X, we're at Carbon FP Pod, and all your favorite audio platforms, man. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Stitcher. No, not Stitcher anymore, right? So
yeah, it's gone.
So Geo7, Ghana, Pocket Cast, Podchaser, all the rest of those, not Stitcher. Stitcher's gone. So RIP Stitcher, but yeah, man, we're on everything, and keep engaging, keep leaving us comments. I love the engagement with the videos, with all that, so it's kind of cool.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Yo, and try to drink this week. I don't know if you're a gin fan.
So good,
definitely, and maybe even if you're not a gin fan, like this does not have a heavy like gin taste to it. It's really good.
It's good, man. I love this. This is so great, man. Yep. And this is one of my favorite gins ever. That's Empress thing, and it never disappoints, bro.
That's right.
This shit's so good.
And as always, we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.